One of the biggest reasons that couples fight is because of sex. And typically in a long-term relationship, what that looks like is man wants sex a whole lot more than the woman does, and conflict comes up. In this video, we're going to spend some time looking at the dynamics between couples and why men and women are wired differently and have different needs when it comes to long-term relationships, and how if you as a man can learn to speak the language of your wife and meet her needs, she will be infinitely more likely to want to have sex with you. I'm Dianne. I'm a clinical psychologist. If you're new here, welcome. Feel free to say hi in the comments and don't forget to subscribe. Now, one of the biggest reasons for this conflict is because of the biological differences in how the male and the female brain are wired. When it comes to sex, men are a bit like a microwave. So if you want an instant ready meal, he's your go-to guy. Women are a little bit more like an oven. You have to preheat her before you can cook a good meal. And there is a book by somebody called Kevin Leman, and it's called Sex Begins in the Kitchen. And it's based on the idea that sex is not just about sex. It's about intimacy, it's about communication, it's about connection. The number one need for men in marriage, in long-term relationships, is sex, followed very closely by respect. For women, sex is kind of at the bottom of the food chain. The number one need for women is affection. Women want emotional connection in a relationship. And every interaction that she has with you, every fight that you have is underpinned by one question for her. And the question is, do you really care about me? And when you do things to make her feel like you care and you see her and you're interested and she's a priority, she's number one, she will be more likely to want to have sex with you later on. How do you do this? It's the million-dollar question. If I had to have a penny for every time a woman in therapy had said to me, I want him to wash the dishes because he wants to wash the dishes and not because I've asked him to, I could probably quit my day job. So what's she trying to communicate under that? What she's trying to say is, do you care about my needs enough to spend some time stopping and considering what it is that I need from you, what it is that you can do to be helpful? Couples don't fight about the things that they fight about. They're fighting about the unmet needs. And for her, this is usually, I want to feel like I'm the most important thing in your life. I want to feel like you value me. So really simple strategy is ask her, stop to consider, because oftentimes men go about their business and assume that if she wants something from you, she'll say it, she'll communicate. And absolutely, there is a time and a place for women to speak up and to communicate what it is that they need. But it would be really strategic if men learned this simple strategy of stop to ask her, what can I do for you? Or if she's had, let's say, a long day and you come home from work, if you had to say to her, go and put your feet up, I'll cook dinner tonight. Or if her love language is touch, walk in and give her a hug. A soft, compassionate, affectionate hug, not a hug with an agenda, because women have a sixth sense for when you're being disingenuous, and they have a sixth sense for when you have ulterior motives. And so this has to come from a genuine place of finding ways to communicate that I care about you and I'm thinking about you. A really useful thing to consider here is love languages, and you can check out my other video on love languages to learn how to speak her love language in a way that is effective and in a way that makes her feel heard. Another tip is pay attention to what you're fighting about. If, let's say, you play rugby every Tuesday and she gets really upset about this, or you spend time with your friends, you go out for dinner, you go out for drinks with your friends, and she gets really upset. A fight breaks out. She's not upset because you're playing rugby or because you're spending time with your friends. She's upset because she feels like rugby or your friends or the thing that you're doing are more important to you than she is. And I can guarantee you, if you find a way to make her feel like she's the most important thing in your life, then she will gladly say goodbye to you when you go and play rugby. I hope that gives you some really useful handles. Feel free to share this video, and I'll see you in my next video.